Does anyone else miss the 2020 lockdown? I miss the lack of traffic, NGL. Why don't you just not go to the party? Peloton does. I'm an introvert, so yes, I do miss the alone time. I am a very bad party guest. Locked myself in the bathroom. Fell asleep. You get the idea. Now I just go for a few minutes, then claim another commitment and leave. Works for me. There is nothing wrong with not being a social butterfly, and your husband needs to recognize that. We are not all the same. I do miss how quiet and empty everything outside was. Indeed. Although in March-April 2020, I spent 38 days in the hospital, 16 of those in ICU on a ventilator. Had my heart restarted while I was wide awake. Had to relearn how to walk and talk. And had months of oxygen tank and medications, heart stabilizers and blood thinners to prevent clots in my legs from working upwards and killing me. June 2020 to June 2021. I got back into walking. Was averaging 7 to 10 miles every day for 512 days straight without missing a single day. Surviving situations like that makes me realize how much of normal everyday life is just fake BS. This has nothing to do with the pandemic. That was just an excuse. You don't like parties or being around other people that much. Nothing wrong with being a homebody. It's fine if you don't want to go, but you're the reason. I'm heading to a Halloween party as we speak and dreading every minute of it. Then why are you going? Introverted people had a much easier time with the lockdown. It also created a wave of changes in lots of people afterwards, causing them to no longer want to deal with social settings the way they once had. I've never once attended a party in order to peer pressure my friends into attending my party. I like hanging out with my friends. Just don't go? You're an adult. Just don't go. Needing the excuse of nationwide business killing, mental illness exacerbating, economy crippling lockdowns to avoid saying no to a party is beyond silly. Just say, nah, I really don't want to go. Not really. It was hell for retail workers. And it felt insulting listening to people complaining about having to do anything to help the community not getting sick, like wearing a mask. As for being forced to stay home, depending where you lived, it wasn't enforced at all. Every week during lockdown was at least 2 COVID block parties going on, and droves of morons crowding the cramped parking lot of my store, being rude and entitled when they wanted a shopping cart worth of stuff, expecting everything to be available despite the many shortages going on. I was also threatened every other Friday trying to enforce the mask and occupancy mandates, so I don't miss the lockdown. I was never in lockdown. I worked, as all blue-collar people did. If you are so unable to set boundaries that you are longing for a time where we were forced to stay in our homes to avoid dying of disease, then I would suggest looking at the boundaries you set in your mental health. Long story short, no, I don't miss the lockdown pretty much at all. It was a terrifying and stressful time. I know people who got very sick from COVID and some who died. If you are romanticizing that time, then I suggest finding better people to hang out with or say no to events you don't want to go to. I don't attend events I don't want to, and love being able to meet up with friends and family without fear of spreading deadly disease. My goodness, absolutely not. The worst time of my life. COVID lockdown was actually pretty good to my family and me. My wife and I both had it, but nothing serious. My older son came back to live with us for about 9 months, which was nothing short of magical. Lots of focused family time. Bought a pellet smoker and experimented a lot with that. My wife and I were lucky and stayed employed, and I still went to work each day. So not stir crazy. No traffic. Like I said, it was good for us. Really? I love house parties and find there's very few of them nowadays because everyone's broken. Working 67 days a week. I get to hang out with my friends maybe once every couple months now. Except for my D&D group. I remember really missing house parties during the pandemic. That being said, I do miss the lockdown. But for another reason, not having to work. I've been working multiple jobs since I was 13 and had rarely ever had more than a couple days off in a row since then. Getting to sit at home and not have to worry about work felt like a massive luxury, and I never wanted to go back. Of course, I did. But now I just want to retire. Unfortunately, due to everything that's happened since. I'll probably never be able to afford it though. I miss absolutely nothing about it. I hated the lack of interaction along with the chaos of not knowing what would happen between sickness and businesses closing. God, I do. It was the safest I've ever felt in my life. Face holding back tears, face holding back tears, face holding back tears. You depressed, fam? Isn't it better that you have the freedom to choose where you want to go?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.